Hi everyone. I'm not sure how many people are online at the moment. Hi. Hey. Hi. Hi guys. So we're just gonna give it a couple of minutes, okay? Till everybody can get online. All right. Hi. Hey, Jess. Oh, thank you. Hi. Right. So, I hope you guys saw the flyer. I guess you guys know what we're gonna talk about today. Yeah, and so if you guys have any, guys, girls, everybody has any questions, remember you could always ask me in between. I might be a little slow. Hi. So I'm gonna be a little slow because this is the first time I'm doing this on live, and you can't hear anything. Okay, I'll try to fix that. 1 second. You can't hear anything. They can't hear anything. Okay. Can you hear me now? Is it loud enough? Hey, hi. Okay, am I audible, guys? Because I don't really know if I am. I am using this little thing. You can now? Okay, good. Thanks. Thank you. All right, so like I said, I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes and then we'll start right away. Hi. Hi. Oh, I know. You got some questions. Yeah, I'm here to answer them today. Okay. Okay. So, I've actually been asked a lot of questions for a long time, and everybody's been asking me why I don't do these lives and these sessions. It's because, I've had a lot on my hand, so I've been doing a lot of things apart from this. But I promise now that I will be here and I will be there to answer your questions and help you in any way I can. Okay? We're gonna have a lot of exciting things to do. I'm gonna have a lot of little seminars and webinars to keep you guys updated. And yeah, and I'll give you more info at the end of this conversation so that you all can stay in tune. Yeah? All right. Maybe just a couple of more minutes. Is that fine? Okay. Hi. Hi, thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you so much for making time on a Saturday. I know I heard somebody saying that today was a cricket match, so I'm really sorry about that because I didn't know. But anyways, I'm here now. I'll try to make this as worth it as possible, okay? All right. So it's like I think it's 7:35. Hi. Yeah. Do you think I should give a couple of more minutes? Why don't you guys comment and let me know if you think I should just wait or should just go ahead? Hey, hi mom. Hey guys, my mom just joined me online. Yay. All right, just a couple of more minutes. Do you think I should wait for like a couple of more minutes? You guys excited? Do you have your questions lined up? Okay, hi everyone. Okay, I think I really chose the wrong day, but I hope this is the best way. Hi Rish. Guys, my sister joined too. Yay. Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna give it a couple of more minutes, and yeah, and then we're gonna talk about very important topics that people have been asking a lot of questions about, and I'm really sorry I wasn't able to come to you guys, to your place, to discuss these things before, but you know, I have cleared up my schedule now, so looks like we'll have a little more time on our hands. So I will come to you. We will have these seminars and webinars so that you can keep in touch, and we can keep you updated. All right, a lot of exciting news, lots of exciting things coming up ahead. Hi. Okay, right. So yeah, guys, like another 3 minutes and then we'll start the topics so that we have an idea of what we're going to cover today. It's been 6 minutes into this. Yeah, just giving everyone a couple of more minutes because it's a Saturday and it's a match day. I don't know how many guys actually take holidays on Saturdays and Sundays, because for me, I think, ooh, wow, okay, we'll start. Should we start? Are you sure? Okay, we'll do that then. Okay. All right, so I've been asked to start, so we're just gonna go ahead and start. Hi. All right, so for those of you who know me, hi. I am Radhiya, and I'm sorry, just a second. I'm looking. Whoa, working all 7 days. I know how that feels. So I get it. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Just give me one quick second. I'm just trying to read the comments, and some of them are like, I'm so sorry. Don't know why I can't see them. Okay. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay. Not sure. Hi. Oh wow. Okay. Hi. Okay. Right. So yeah, for those of you who know me, I am Radhiya, and you know, I've been around for quite a couple of decades right now. So you know that I've been doing this all the time. And yeah, and for those of you who don't know me, I am Radhiya Hemchandra, International All Breeds Master Groomer, our first country's representative internationally, globally, and a placement and winner for our country. And I am here today to discuss very common but much asked about topics about, you know, things like goals on having a grooming parlor, goals that people must achieve while grooming a pet, understanding different coat types, and how to choose the right tools, what to use, what not to use. Does one follow all the videos they see online, or does one actually, you know, pick up some books on grooming? And of course, how to, you know, avoid common mistakes that are committed during the grooming procedure, because either we're too anxious or, you know, we want so much of the perfection that we forget or overlook what's important, you know, which is the health, hygiene, and the comfort of a pet. Okay. So yeah, so this is what we're going to cover today. And if you all have any questions, like I said, give me a couple of minutes to respond and I will respond to you. Okay, great. So the first topic we're going to talk about is why coats matter, and why does the type and texture matter while grooming. Oh, hi guys, I'm sorry. So yeah, we've gone ahead and started because it was requested, so we're gonna do that. Okay, right. And don't worry, we have this videoed, so we can always play it back on a YouTube channel, or we'll play it back as a video. Okay, hi. Okay, so yeah, so white coats. Now everybody needs to understand that there is a type of coat and there's a texture of coat. Okay, a lot of times when you talk about coats, we say, oh, it's a rough coat, oh, it's a smooth coat, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the texture of coat we're talking about. All right, so let me eliminate with examples so you have an idea. So a lot of people know that there are certain types of coats, right? Like we have smooth coated dogs, we have the double coated dogs, we have the curly and wavy coated breeds, we have the drop coated breeds, we have the wire coated breeds, right? Right now, every type of coat matters because when you're grooming them, the end result can differ from your grooming methods, right? So for examples, we're gonna talk mostly about, our typical dogs that come in to our grooming parlor. We don't always have the very fancy dogs coming in, right? So we're going to talk now about the smooth-coated dogs, okay? So examples of the smooth-coated dogs. The type of coat is smooth-coated, but the texture needn't necessarily be smooth and shiny, okay? It can be a little rough to touch. But what it means ideally is that it's shorter, okay? It's shorter, closer to the skin. And as much as people think that these breeds don't shed and, oh, I forgot the examples. Labs, boxers, beagles, your basic examples for these breeds, okay? So a lot of people pick up these dogs and then they go like, oh, the maintenance is so low, it's so easy to manage. But the truth is they shed quite a lot, and this is because of environmental conditions, dietary differences, and of course, grooming methods, okay? Which is a very important key player in the entire matter. So when a person purchases a dog or gets a dog or adopts a dog, the first thing they do, hi. Yeah, that would include a Frenchie, yeah, this, yeah. Oh my God, it's been years. Okay, yeah, that would include a French Bulldog as well. Yeah, definitely. So now I'm explaining to you why, you pick up the dog, you think it's very easy to handle, it's very easy to maintain, but the truth is the denser and the shorter the coat or the more close fitted the coat is, the more sensitive the skin of that particular breed is. All right, so they have that dense coat to protect their skin ideally, which means when you accidentally overgroom, use the wrong products on the coat, it is possible that their skins will break out into having skin problems faster, okay? And also understand that because their coats are that short, they're more exposed to the environment, all right? So, what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna guide you in this kind of breeds is that what you really need to do is the minimal grooming on these breeds, okay? Weekly brushing with tools like a curry brush or a shedding mitt or a slicker brush with the covered pins. These would be good enough to use once a week. Hi guys. So these would be enough to use once a week, just so that okay, hi guy, hi. Okay, so like I said, we're already into the topics right now, so I'm sorry if you missed it, but if there's anything you want to ask, you're welcome to ask me and give me a couple of minutes to respond, okay? So yeah, we were talking about minimal grooming. So you don't need to bathe the dog once a week. For everybody who doesn't know, typically a dog needs to have a shower or be given a bath only once in 21 days to 30 days, all right? This is because it takes 21 days for their oils to regenerate in their coat. So let's just say you use a generic shampoo that's available in the market. The chemicals of the shampoo or the natural ingredients in the shampoo can strip the coat of its natural oils. So you need to give, hi guys, hi. All right, so you need to give it some time for it to regenerate those oils so that the pH levels in the coat and skin can balance again, okay? And what unfortunately people are not guided to do correctly is the fact that they go in and they start bathing the dog once a week, saying that it's smelling, it's dirty. Actually, the truth is, if you just give it a little bit of a brush once a week or once in, let's say, 5 days, your dog's not going to smell that much, and it's not going to be that dirty, and it's not going to shed as much, because the more you keep aggravating its skin, the more you keep probing it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I'm still here. Sorry, guys. Okay, I was doing this from my phone, and somebody called me. All right. All right. Please let me know if I'm still here, and you know I'm still here. Am I still there? Yeah? Okay. Am I still there? Okay, great. Okay, great. Okay. So guys, I'm so sorry about that. My mistake. Hi. Okay. So don't bathe the dog every week. Don't have the owners bathe them every week. as good as products are available in the market, and I'm saying this from a very personal part because I make products as well, unless you know how to balance off what is missing from the coat and what it lacks and what it's got excess of, you wouldn't know the right products to use. So you need to use the right products, okay? Plus, groomers know better because they've studied this and they'll understand how to use the right products. So I wouldn't recommend a bath more than once in 21 days. And this is researchable, so you can research regarding all of this. Hi guys. You can research all of this in a good book, you know, that's dedicated to dogs, dog care, and the breeds and breed conformations and structure and requirements of coats, okay? So this is one thing. So remember, the tools is like rubber curry brush. You can always, hi. You can always go up on Google and Google it, and you'll see what a rubber curry brush is, and you can also see what a shedding mitt is. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, does the same apply? Also, dogs get dirty really fast. Construction work going on. That's the dirt called itching today. Yeah, hi. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. For Jess, hi. Okay. So does it? I mean, honestly speaking, when a dog has been exposed to those conditions, it obviously means it's a dog that's kept outside. So you really need to consider how well that dog is actually taken care of. And yeah, actually a shedding mitt can help because it typically comes like a little rubber glove, right? So when you use it on the dog, you're kind of like pushing off the dust and the grime. And it's not only the external factors that will affect the coat, okay? I'm so sorry, I'm just gonna scroll back to that. It's also a lot of the times to do with the actual environmental condition as well, okay? So if the owner is good enough to, I'm so sorry, if the owner, okay, okay, 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna come down a little slow. I told you, please give me a minute because I'm still getting used to this. So yeah, so for Jess, you know, for groomers, they know what products to use that can suppress, the dirt will cause irritation and itching, but for you guys, you know what to use in order to clean it and keep its pH levels balanced, right? So that's applicable to those who are educated in the field, which is very important. And, you know, we'll get down to why that's that important. And yeah, so you can bathe the dog. I mean, show dogs are bathed once in 5 to 7 days, and you don't see them going out of condition. I'm talking generically for the people that are watching because not everyone is a groomer. Yeah? Okay. So if you need any info on that, we can talk and I'll let you know. Okay? And for Miss Rishia, my dear sister, who asked what kind of book, yeah, I mean, I would recommend like a Royal Canine Encyclopedia on dogs because I would recommend that because it's a very well, you know, well researched, well put in perfect words for people to understand, the simplest of people. All right. So yeah, you can refer to encyclopedias on pets that have been in the market for a longer period of time because the longer they've been around, the better research has been put into them. Okay, and those that are in print cannot be misguiding people. Okay, because it is possible that, you know, you might get wrong information online because it's a, you know, plethora of information you might get. Okay. So that's that for you. Hi, and somebody asked me, am I a pet groomer? Well, yes, I am actually. I am one of India's first master groomers and the only country's representation globally with the placement holder almost over a decade ago. Yes. And for the Dog Talk Pet Exotics guy, I'm so sorry, I don't have your name. But I don't have the tools with me because I've taken a holiday today to get online to you guys. But we will be having a lot of sessions where I will be explaining tools and uses with examples. and that will be like a little workshop, and then we'll have a little seminar and a little webinar. Okay. But meanwhile, if you wanted to reach out and you wanted to give me an example, or you wanted an example, I'll send it to you. Okay. So that's that. Hi. Oh, Karan, hi. Okay. So yeah, that's your answer. Okay. So we were at the smooth coated dogs, and now we'll go on to the rough coated dogs that are available in the market. So to name a few, like, remember guys, when I said rough coated, I don't mean the texture of the coat, I mean the type of coat of the breed. Okay. So examples for a rough coated breed would be like Huskies and Golden Retrievers. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you touch them, they're rough in coat texture. It means it's the type of breed that has a little more than, say, about 2.5 to 3 inches of coat on their body. We have double coated breeds also in this, where we have German Shepherds that fall into that category. And of course, there are different grooming methods for that as well. So what is the most important method for that kind of breed is de-shedding. A lot of people don't realize that these particular dogs have a shedding cycle. Okay, now they can shed, typically all dogs shed twice a year. Okay, sometimes a little after winter and sometimes during autumn. It's their natural coat regeneration. Okay, now other things can also affect it. Okay, like environmental conditions, bad or not good enough or not balanced enough diets. Okay, and also over grooming. You know, you see people taking a brush and then going at it for the next 30-40 minutes. You don't really need to go that long. Okay, hi. So what you need to do is you need to view your pet and see what it requires before you can actually decide what kind of method you need to follow. But the de-shedding is important, especially during post-winter and during autumn, because the better you remove the dead coat, the better the actual top coat will regenerate, and the healthier your dog will be, because they can actually regulate their body temperature better. Okay, now I was asked a question earlier, why somebody said let's just shave the dog for the summer, or let's just shave the dog because it's getting hot and it can feel hot. But the guys, that's a myth. Okay, it is a myth. Hi. Okay, it's because these dogs have coats for a reason. Okay, if you shave those coats, the dog coat is not long enough for them to regulate their body temperature, thereby allowing airflow through their coat to cool down their body. They don't actually sweat from their skin. Dogs actually sweat from their paws and their tongue. Okay, so if you keep them well hydrated in cold and cooler places, it is less likely that they're going to feel hot. And of course, if you go ahead and shave the dog at that time, you're not only damaging its skin and coat, you're also not allowing its natural process for coat to regulate their body temperature to occur. And then people would probably take them out in the sun for a walk, and then those dogs' skins will get burnt. Okay, and we really don't, we could have some products with a little SPF for dogs, but there's no foolproof method to protect their skin at that time. Okay, so there's a no shaving. Please don't shave dogs like Golden Retrievers and Huskies. That is not what they're meant for. Okay, you can there are different dogs that need the clipping, and I'll explain why, but these dogs don't need it. They need de-shedding, the removal of the undercoat, which a professional groomer will know how to do. Okay, so a slicker brush would do great for this. As a tool, you could use a regular slicker brush. Ensure that you don't overdo the slickering, because a lot of the times it can also damage the skin when you overdo anything. And of course, there are rakes for the undercoat. There are de-shedding tools that are available in the market. But for homeowners, I would only always, recommend, a slicker brush, because that's the safest thing, and it helps with, circulating the blood on the dog's skin, so that it actually has a better, healthier coat. Okay, so that's that. And then of course, so do you guys have any questions regarding, rough coated breeds or double coated breeds? Because if you do, then you can ask me and I can answer the questions. I'm just gonna give you like a minute or two. Okay. Hi guys. Hi everyone. I know I picked the wrong day for this. I know everybody wants to watch the match. Hi. Okay. But anyway, don't worry. I will be putting this up on our YouTube channel later, or as, a video, so that you can always go back to it. Okay? All right. So since nobody, hi guys. So since nobody has any questions regarding the rough coated or double coated breeds, we'll talk about curly and wavy coats. Okay? So I hope everybody knows that there are curly and wavy coats. Oh my God, somebody's texting me that I must attend the call. Okay. All right, guys. So I hope you guys can hear me. Okay. So curly and wavy coats. So a lot of people know these breeds. Have you seen poodles and bichons before? So if you guys haven't seen them before, please go online and you can actually take a look at what an example of these breeds are. Okay. So I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do this, guys. 1 second. Please give me a second. All right. Okay. Guys, if you don't mind, could you just give me 1 second? I don't know what's going on. Okay. Okay. All right. So okay. All right, guys, just give me 1 quick second, okay? I'll just be back. Someone's constantly calling me and I don't know why, so just give me 1 second, okay? All right, sorry. Okay, hi guys, hi. Okay, so we were at, I'm so sorry guys, forgive me for this. Someone's constantly calling me on my phone, and it's not 1 or 2 calls, it's almost like 12 calls so far, so I don't know what was going on. Anyway, so here we at curly and wavy coated breeds, okay? So, poodles, bichons, these dogs have curly and wavy coats, and the grooming method for these are quite simple actually. They will require a little more brushing, okay? They will require at least brushing once in 2 days, all right? And you will use, a slicker brush, a greyhound comb, and a pin brush to do the maintenance, okay? So once you use these tools, your dog is essentially mat free, so you won't be having any problems. The major problems that occur with these coats is because they're so fine and they get entwined so quickly. It's very difficult to maintain if you don't brush them over like 3-4 days. Okay, so as a basic maintenance, every 2nd or 3rd day is good enough for a brush, and ensure you do the slicker brushing first, you do the greyhound comb after that, and then you follow it up with a pin brush. Okay, this will maintain it pretty well. Now, dogs like this, like poodles and bichons, require a haircut. Okay, they definitely need a haircut at least once every 2nd month, so that they can maintain their shape and they don't go haywire. Okay, but their first cuts are always done at the age of 6 months. This is the perfect time when their coat is grown from a puppy coat to an adult coat, or is in transition. So when you do a haircut on these dogs, they will be to their maximum. They will look very beautiful. They won't have any alopecia. They won't have hair loss. Their shapes will be maintained quite well. Their coat will be sturdy enough to hold a shape. Okay, and if you do it any earlier than this, their coats can drop. They will be less buoyant. They'll be less bouncy. Okay, so this is regarding the poodles and bichons. All right. And of course, your groomer will be able to do their haircuts depending on what you want. An ideal haircut for a poodle is a puppy cut or a lion cut. And that's a puppy lion cut. And then you can always progress on to a lion cut when it's an adult. Okay. Now, I hope you guys understood whatever I've said so far. If you have any doubts or any questions, you can ask me. I'm not as strict as I look, so you can go ahead and ask me what you want, okay? By the way, guys, if you want good tools, I can always recommend good tools. I also manufacture tools for grooming. We have our Pro Grooming series of tools, which are well researched and made to fit and suit every person that uses them. All right. So, hi guys, hi. Okay. So if anybody has anything else, hi. So if anybody has any questions, please ask me. I'm right here to answer them, okay? So now we are moving on to the wire-coated braids, okay? So people, I hope you understand that we don't have too many wire-coated braids in India, okay? But when you do, hi. So when you do have them, the texture of their coats also are quite different. You see, it comprises of 2 or 3 textures of coat, okay? So typically it has a undercoat, it has a regular coat, and it has a wire coat. Tool price, please. Oh yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I think good tools are always priced from around 700 to about 5,000 or 6,000, depending on what you want. Which shampoo is best for a poodle and bichon? So again, thanks for the question, but it again depends on the coat texture and type. You know, you're asking me, I don't want to be biased, but I would say my products are really good. So you should try that out. It's Funky Furz products. So we have puppy shampoos and adult shampoos, and it's made for that age. But generically, if you wanted to know any other, companies, I'll let you know. I'll let you know later down in the comments. Okay? So, okay. So sorry, hi. Okay, and yeah, like I said, the tools pricing should roughly be around 750 to about 5,000. Those are good tools to use. You just know how, more than anything, you need to know how to use them better. Okay, so that's what's important. Okay, okay. All right, and then now we're going into the wire-coated braids, like I did mention. To give you examples of the same, it would be schnauzers and westies. Okay, so you guys know schnauzers and westies require a certain kind of grooming routine, and they have a certain kind of coat, and they have a certain requirement for a haircut and a clip. Okay, and naturally they were not meant to do so. It's only because of dog shows and trying to display the best parts of them that actually required grooming to play a huge part of it. Okay, so typically for this kind of breed, we do something that's known as hand stripping. Okay, now as hard or as treacherous as that might seem, we're not actually pulling off the coat that is fixed to their body, which is needed. Okay, we're actually pulling off a wire kind of coat that is an excess coat that's actually meant for protection when they go into bushes and things like that. Okay, but we don't have bushes here when you get a dog. You typically get a dog as a pet or as a show dog, so we only strip that coat. Okay, and we do this with stripping knives. We can also do hand stripping, and we do this in a particular pattern so that the dogs look a certain way, and we can actually make them look I don't know, how do I say, be presented in a very articulated fashion so that they look and represent that breed to its best possibility. Okay, so that's what we do for these wire-coated breeds. Okay, now how do you maintain them is, again, you need to brush them once in like a couple of days, because their coats tend to get matted quite easily. Not because of their wire coat, but because of their undercoat. Okay, they also need to have their de-shedding done a certain way. So a slicker brush would work for this, and we will follow it up with a greyhound comb again. Okay, they will also be required to go into the groomers to get their haircuts done. Again, like I mentioned, anything after 6 months for a typical haircut is a good timing for them. And if you wanted to do a regular grooming, then once a month is what I would recommend. Okay, so this would be your wire coated braids. Now we're moving on to the long drop coated braids. Okay, so I know you guys know this. Everybody has seen these dogs before. You have your Shih Tzus, your Yorkshire Terriers. Okay, hi guys, hi everyone. Hi. Okay, thanks for joining. I know I picked the wrong day, but it's fine. We'll have this on YouTube so you can see it again. Okay, so yeah, so with the long drop coated breeds, you are aware that they need a little more extra care, right? They will need a little more maintenance in general. They'll need their coats to be brushed in at least once every alternative day. And they're a little more high maintenance, depending on, of course, if they're show dogs or home dogs. And hi, hi. So yeah, so it's actually quite easy. You just have to pick up, again, one of our favorite brushes, our pin brush, a greyhound comb or a steel comb. I prefer the ones that have the carbon coating so that they don't have any static and they don't break the coat. So that would be the better type of comb to use, the one that is powder coated. Okay, and then of course some people like to use detangling spray to remove tangles on dogs like this. It really depends on the user or the person who owns the dog or the groomer. Okay, it is possible to detangle on a dry coat as well if it's done carefully, and I actually prefer this method because it keeps more of the coat intact unless it's dry or brittle coat, sorry. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Just don't go squeezing away all the detangling spray and trying to untangle it. Okay, so that's with the Shih Tzus and the Yorkshire Terriers and breeds alike. Okay, hi. So yeah, so don't forget the pin brush, a slicker brush, a greyhound comb, a good detangling spray. Do your research. There are plenty of products in the market. Okay, hi hi. I know I missed those two as well. I know. Well, I'm sure you'll come back. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to seeing all of you together again. All right. Okay. 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 Yes, Mr. Curran. Yes, hi. Wow, I'm so happy you're asking me some questions. Yeah. So how to remove tangles? Well, there are multiple methods, okay? I like to physically detangle with my fingers. Okay. Hey. Hi. Okay. So I like to physically detangle with my fingers because this way I understand how intense the mat is and whether I can separate it or not. Okay, good detangling sprays are available in the market. Not all groomers would give away their secrets, but if you did good enough research on our typical detangling solutions available in the market, you have a plethora of products to use. Now again, I can't recommend a best product because it would depend on the coat type and texture. So you would need to actually feel and check what works for your pet or that dog in question. Okay, if you use a detangling spray, any generic detangling spray is made a certain way because it needs to go to the general public. All right, so it cannot have any particular ingredient as an excessive, and it cannot fix any particular problem unless it is made for that kind of detangling treatment. Okay, so if you use a generic detangling product, it can just do a good enough job for you depending on the coat texture. Okay, if you get a completely matted dog and expect 2 or 3 detangling bottles of spray to work, it may not work. Okay, all right. So yeah, I use all my products. Okay, so you very soon, perhaps later this year, we'll be having our own detangling spray also as a part of the products that we have for us. Okay, hi. Okay, So right now though, I would just guide you how to maintain your dogs with shampoos and brushing, because a good shampoo and a good brushing and understanding your dog's coat and type would actually mean the world of a difference. Okay, so you wouldn't have to do anything fancy. You wouldn't need to add too many products. The more products you use sometimes can cause more damage than actually fixing it. Okay, so this is what it is. And so this is for your long drop coats. If you guys have any other questions, then please do ask and I will answer them for you. Okay, hi. Hi everyone. Sure. So for current, specifically in this, you can actually visit our Instagram page, and we have the link of our products as a part of our product up there, so you can just take a look at it. Okay, and if you don't get it, I will send it to you. Okay, it's Funky Furz. You can't miss it. Okay. All right, so now we have, of course, another type of coat that a lot of people don't see in India. Okay, we have the hairless and the minimal coated breeds. Okay, now how do you take care of dogs like the Chinese crested or the Xolo and Squintini, which is a Mexican hairless dog? Now, typically, these dogs will need a lot of skin care and sun protection, because if you actually looked online, you'd be able to see examples of these dogs. Okay, so for them, their skin is a little tougher because they don't have that much hair. One, of course, sometimes you need to pluck out the hair for it to look the way it does. And for these dogs, there are specific products in the market that do have sun protection, but because it's not available in India, we don't have these breeds in India. We don't really make a mention of them. But if you do a little bit of research, you would be able to find products that work for these pets. Okay, now like I did mention, for these kind of dogs, a basic okay, oh hi. Okay, can you tell us what are the basic steps for grooming, where to start and how to end? Okay, great. Okay, so let me just finish with that. For the hairless coats, like I said, a gentle puppy shampoo should do the trick, because it won't be really affecting the pH levels of the dog's skin. And of course, you will need to get products which are like skin conditioning sprays with the UV protection to ensure that the dog's skin doesn't get burnt. And of course, you'll have to make sure that it doesn't get exposed to the sun and things like that. Okay, so now for Christopher, I hope that's the right name. Yeah, so the basic steps for grooming. So grooming is actually comprised of different types of grooming. Okay, let's just go there. When we talk about grooming in general, we're just talking about general hygiene, maintenance, and ways for you to keep an eye on your dog or your pet, and to ensure that they don't have any skin or nicks and damages on their body. Okay, we typically include ear cleaning. It depends on the breed again, but our generic one is a ear cleaning, nail clipping, a teeth brushing if necessary. You don't really need a brush for this. You need something like a silicone brush, which just helps with the rotation of the paste against the teeth. And we don't really take off any enamel, or we don't actually do any scaling or anything like that. It's just to ensure that whatever loose particles of food is stuck in the teeth come away. Okay, so we do that, and then we do a basic brushing. So the brushing can comprise of de-shedding, dematting, or it depends on the breed again, right? I said, or a skin conditioning treatment based on the type of breed that you have. Once a thorough brushing is done, we do a basic bath. The bath again is a bath that's noted by the skin condition. We actually check what products to use for each dog that comes in. So if you have a particular dog, you need to keep an eye on the skin and coat type so that you know what kind of product to use. Some shampoos are used one time, some shampoos are used a couple of times depending on what kind of result you want. And then you do a basic blow dry, and you do a finishing. A finishing typically comprises of a coat conditioning spray or a heat absorption spray. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. A heat repellent spray, so that skin doesn't get burnt, coat doesn't get burnt. Okay, heat protection spray, sorry. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I'm sorry, sometimes the words slip from my mouth. Okay, so yeah, you use that on the coat and then you blow dry it out depending on how you want the coat to fall. I really don't like reverse drying as much because a lot of people do that to get the volume and the bounce of the coat. But I do directional drying. That's what we need, or doing it in the direction of the coat of the dog itself. Okay, and once that's done, of course, always check to make sure that the ears are not wet after that. And if you have to do a sanitary clip after that, which is, you know, keeping the underpads clean and the genital areas clean, then you can clip away the hair that's there if it causes problem or irritation. That's the generic grooming that's done, or basic grooming. Okay, and then beyond that, we do our aesthetic grooming or our cosmetic grooming based on the type of dog that comes in, or our show grooming. Okay, depending on the breed that comes in. All right, so IT stain, especially with Shih Tzu, Bichon. All right, so you know, Karan, if you look in the market, you'll see that there are quite good products available. Maybe not in India as much though, but there are particular products that are available for these dogs. Okay, they're pretty much used anytime from the ages of 3 months upwards. Okay, they do not contain bleach. They're just typical cleansing products. But a very important thing for everyone to understand is, for a Shih Tzu and a Bichon, when you get an eye cleaner, or let's say a tear stain remover, this is a wet product, right? So when you use a wet product on a dog near the eyes, it is very important for you to dry that area right after. You don't need to blow dry it. You could just use like a paper towel to absorb the excess product. Okay, hi guys. So I'll tell you why you need to do this is because when you leave any product, any wet product on a dog's skin, it attracts a lot of bacteria to settle down on it. Okay, so it basically defeats the purpose of you using the product. Hi. So it basically defeats the purpose of you using the product itself, because what happens later is, you know, the bacteria settles on that area, causes a lot of dirt to settle on that area, and then it again starts staining. Okay, but when you keep it dry, hi. Okay, thanks guys, thanks for coming. I know it was a busy day for everyone, the match and all. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so use a paper towel to absorb the excess excess product, and you get these amazing tear stain removing powders which actually keep that area dry. So you could always follow up with those powders to make sure that, you know, no excess dirt or bacteria settles on that. Okay, so again, you know, to the ones that asked me the questions, I'll let you know what to use if you have any particular dogs you have in mind. Okay, and yeah, and remember, you must do a lot of research before you can fix on what you like, because every product may not suit every pet. Okay, or every dog or every cat. You need to see the skin, the coat texture, and then you need to follow up regarding that. Okay, so now those are the types of coats that we had in mind, guys. So now the frequency of grooming is one of the topics that we were going to go at. So we have a lot of people that have their dogs in for a bath once a week, once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks, once in 4 weeks. But the typical, like I did tell you earlier in this conversation, our typical, our timing or circling. Hi. Hi, guys. Hi. Sorry. Yeah. So, I mean, Karen, you want me to actually mention the product's name? Well, then you can, I'll just do one name for you, okay? So you can probably get something called Envy, okay? It's a product from America. You will have to get it in because it's one of the best products I've ever used. And I actually swear by this product. This is one of the products that I use. There are many others in the market, but then again, it really takes care of the eye, doesn't irritate it, doesn't cause any redness, and it does the job really well. Okay, so it's called Eye Envy. Okay, so one secret out. Now you really want more secrets, don't you? Okay. So yeah, so we were talking about the Oh, what is that? What is LNV? What is that? Okay. INV. It's EYE. ENVY. So that's INV. Okay. Okay. So no more secrets now. Okay. We have to save some for the seminars and the webinars that are coming along. Okay. So we'll keep those questions and your answers for that. For now, let's just be generic. Okay. Okay. So now we were going in for the frequency, like I did mention. Dogs with skin problems might require more attention. Okay, dogs with skin problems might have their frequency of grooming scheduled to a little closer because they're on a treatment mode. There's a certain type of treatment that they follow, and there's a certain timeline that they need to follow it in for them to be having results. Those are for dogs with skin problems. Dogs, like earlier mentioned in this conversation, that live near construction sites and things like that, I would not advise a weekly, but I would maybe go up to something like once in 15 days, although it's not something I recommend. If it's taken to a good groomer or a person who knows about pets, or you know what products to use, then you could probably do this once in 15 days, but you will have to follow the procedure of grooming to the T, because if you skip anything, like don't dry the dog perfectly, or if you leave any product back on this type of dog with this frequency of grooming, you're most likely going to end up with more problems that you started with. Okay, problems, sorry guys. Okay, so typically once a month is a good frequency for regular healthy dogs. Okay, 21 days is the closest that you can do 2 groomings apart, because it would have given the coat enough time to actually regenerate its oils, and this dog will remain healthy with a healthy coat and a healthy skin. Okay, so this is important. Hi guy. So yeah, so this is the frequency that I would recommend when you're doing the grooming. And yeah, and if there are any particular dogs, any particular breeds that require extra care, show dogs and all of the above, it would depend on the type of products you're using and what is your end goal or what you want to achieve from this dog's look. Okay, so that would be regarding the frequency of grooming. All right, so now let's go in for the common mistakes to avoid. All right, which number clipper? You mean which number clipper blade? Okay, is that what you're asking me? You're asking me regarding the haircut, is that right? All right, well, if you're asking me regarding the hair, yeah, okay, good. Okay, so Karan, it really depends on the length of coat you want to retain. Okay, oh, you want the blade number. Okay, so you know, hey, you're really asking me all the questions, aren't you? Okay, so now that would totally depend on the structure of the Bichon or the Shih Tzu in hand. For Shih Tzus, when you do a puppy clip, you can always use a base blade with a clipper attachment. Okay, I don't like to go anything less than 2 inches because it kind of loses that beauty in a dog, or yeah, the beauty in a pet. So I don't like to use anything that's lower than 2 inches as an attachment or as a guide comb over a base blade. Okay, and we're talking base blade if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we're not talking about the shaving blades. Okay, so okay, and of course I would like to finish it off with a little scissor work, and if you can use scissors like straight and curved shears and typical to get in a good shape, you can always use the blending thinning to get it to look a little more natural. Okay, but I don't like to go really short because the dog loses its beauty. And for Bichons, you know, I like to do the body a little closer than I do like to do the legs. I like to not do everything in unison. I don't like to keep the body and the legs at the same level. So I think it gives a little more character. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so yeah, and I also don't like to do too tight head. I don't like to give it a too tight a head look. I like to give the tail and the head a balanced look, because it needs to look attractive and pretty, but sometimes, you know, people go in really small on the head and it kind of just loses the charm. Okay, and yes, since you're asking me all the questions. Okay, so this is what I like to do for the Bichons and the Shih Tzus. Okay, if you're gonna just do a puppy cut, then just use any attachment that's over 2 inches. Anything over 2 inches. Don't go under, because the beauty of the dog goes in, unless it's a matted dog or something and you will need to get rid of the excess. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to, we only have like another 5 minutes to close up, so we're gonna go on to the common mistakes to avoid for grooming. Okay, so the fundamental common mistake for grooming is overbathing. Okay, oh, my dog is smelling, bathe. Oh, my dog's dirty, bathe. Oh, my dog got wet, bathe. No, it's not necessary. Your dog is smelling for a reason. Okay, there's always a reason behind everything. Yes, if you let your dogs play out in the, you know, in the rain, they will definitely need a nice good shower, and you're gonna have to follow up with a real good blow dry and keep them dry, and don't let them play in the rain again for some time. But you know, if you're talking about the dog smelling, typically this does not only have to do with its coat or you know, its environment. It can also mean it's dietary. There's some imbalances in the diet, or there is some problem or error with the grooming method, which is causing the body to excrete oils that are either that's hyper excretion of oils on the skin, or it's excreting oils to balance off something that is missing. Okay, now nature's got an amazing way of you know, adapting, right? So when it's a dog or an animal, when you do something that does not work for it, something else compensates to keep it going. Okay, so this is when your dog ends up becoming smelly and all of that. So bathing them every week is not going to sort out the problem, because the problem is more or less on the skin level or internal. Okay, it could be even environmental or just with the error in the grooming method, but I'm just giving you other options so that you understand. Okay, so that is important to understand, not to bathe too often. Okay, and of course to check what product you're using before you do, not because it's popular, but because it's needed. Okay, now the other one is shaving rough coated dogs and double coated breeds. Guys, anyway, I've seen so many images online. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, Karen, just give me like a minute. Okay, I'll just come back to you. Okay, so we were talking about oops, I'm so sorry. Shaving double coated braids. So I see a lot of images online which look really funny for someone, and then, you know, makes a really good makes not, maybe not a very good image, but makes a very good grooming experience image for people. But you know, I've seen dogs that have only the head and then completely shaved in the bottom. See, these things are not recommended. Okay, they're not recommended because you're not just you're doing it because you know, people are asking, or you know, people are saying it's hot and everything, but they need to understand how the dog requires their coat to regulate their body temperature. You know, the more you keep taking away from its coat, okay, the more you try to shave it down to the bare minimum, the more problems you're actually inviting for this dog. Okay, because these dogs are not meant to have no coat, and they cannot sweat from their coat, I mean from their body. They can only sweat from their underpads and their tongue. So by doing this, you're creating lesions on the body, itchiness that will come and follow. You will also be getting nicks and cuts, burns, skin burn, sunburn, and things like it. So, and a lot of times it also results in alopecia. Okay, that is hair loss, not growing correctly, and this does not recover. It cannot recover sometimes, because it's a little more technical, guys. So I will explain it to you when we're doing our seminars and webinars. Okay, so yeah, there is a technical reason why it doesn't grow back. Okay, and it has a lot to do with the skin and the environment as well. Okay, so this is why we don't shave double-coated breeds. Okay, you just do a de-shedding. That is the most important thing, the removal of the undercoat naturally with the right tools. Okay, so now we go into using people using human shampoo. Guys, I'm a little over my time, so I'll try to wrap it up as soon as I can. Okay, so I'm so sorry about that. Oh, and what clipper is best for all coat types? You know, I'm an Oster person. I love Oster, and I love it's because of the you know, the strength of the clipper, the good performance of the clipper. For me, it's very important that I have something that works well for me to be able to work with it easily. Okay, otherwise what happens is it gives you a lot of stress when you're working. Hi. Hi guys, hi. We're almost at the end of it though. Okay, so yeah, so I would go with Oster, and then I love Wall after that, and then, you know, so on and so forth, depending on the capacity of the clipper and how well it works. So this is what I like. Okay, now it's up to you again, what works for your hand, what works for your you know, requirement, and what kind of dogs you get in. All right, so now the next one is using human shampoo on dogs. You know, we have a lot of people that don't understand that the pH level of a dog and a human being is different. So when you use shampoos that are human on a dog, it creates more disruption to the coat and skin. So thereby your dog will start shedding more, or smelling more, or getting bleached, or things like that. Okay, so it's a no to use human products on dogs. No using that. Okay, the other ones is do not ignore the ears and nails of the dog. Okay, ignoring the ears over a period of time can cause canker of the ears, a lot of problems in the ears, and things like that. Okay, so as much as you can, keep the ears clean. You don't have to do this cleaning every day. Once in 2 weeks is fine. Just do it the right way. Okay, and the nails, of course, you know, when you start hearing the clicking of a dog's nail, if it's an indoor dog, then it means it's time to cut. Okay, and don't overcut, because you just need to cut enough. You always have to remember the quicks at the nail. So the more you cut too short, the more sensitive the dog's going to become in the long run. Okay, so try to keep just good enough length so that the natural abrasion can happen and the dog is comfortable. And don't forget the dew claws. Okay, because the dew claws always have long nails. Sometimes the dogs have dew claws in the back feet as well, so you have to check. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so sorry I didn't get to your puppy care a little bit earlier. Yeah, to take care of your puppies, you need to just use your puppy products, if I'm addressing that thing correctly. Yeah, okay. Use puppy grooming products. You can't go wrong with it. It's meant for a puppy, for the sensitive skin. Okay, and of course, guys, the last topic of this is, I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit over time again, 2 minutes 58 seconds over time, is don't wait too long between grooming. Okay, because if you wait too long between 2 grooming sessions, sometimes the maintenance becomes harder, and then more effort needs to be put into the next grooming session, which may or may not give you the result that you're looking for in the long run. Okay, so try to space your grooming once in 30 days. For the people who cannot have it done that regularly, or, you know, have difficulties in going to work and things like that, please, the maximum you can stretch it out to is 45 days, but the groomer is gonna have to give a lot of effort into it. They're gonna have to put a lot of effort into it. Okay, because dogs need to cooperate with the groomer as well. They don't live with the groomer, so that they're not really used to the groomer. Okay, all right, so yeah, so don't wait too long between 2 groomings. All right, and after the shower, is it necessary to blow the comb the whole body? Yeah, so dog talk, pet guy. So the whole thing is that I don't like to dry the dog just with the dryer. Okay, because you need to first put in a coat conditioning spray or a skin conditioning spray. Okay, you need to be able to brush and blow dry at the same time. This not with a slicker. Okay, it depends on the breed again, but I would always go in for a pin brush. Okay, because the pin brush is has pins long enough to go into the coat, but soft enough not to cause abrasion. Okay, and when you use a pin brush simultaneously with the blow dryer, you can always determine the direction of the coat that's getting dried. And you can also ensure that the drying is even throughout. Okay? All right, so this is one way of not missing a spot and not allowing a dog to have skin problems. Okay? So this is very important for you to remember. Don't just go ahead and use the blow dryer just like that. It doesn't make sense, only because it doesn't do much of a job. It just blow dries the dog and you can miss areas, and because it's not combed, simply you wouldn't know which place you missed out. Okay? All right. Hi. So guys, I know you're joining it a bit late. I'm so sorry because I picked a day that was a match day. I didn't know. But yeah, if you have any other questions or anything like it, you're welcome to reach out to me. And don't worry, I mean, this would conclude our session for the day. But if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me, maybe through Instagram or maybe through WhatsApp. It's cool for me. And the exciting news is that we're gonna be starting our tour very shortly, and because I have had many requests for people that cannot travel to me, I've decided to come to you. Okay, so we will be coming to 5 cities in the next couple of months. We're gonna do a couple of seminars, webinars, and workshops. So please follow me, or and do hit the likes if you can. So do follow me and I'll keep you updated on what's happening. Our tour dates should be out by the end of this month. We're not doing just India, so please tune in and let me know if you'd like to be a part of it, and we'll guide you on how to go there. Okay? And for anybody who was interested in the products that I was mentioning, I only had a couple of few that I mentioned on request. So one is that I did mention my own shampoos because I've done a lot of research into them. So if you're interested in purchasing the shampoos, you're welcome to contact me. I also do the grooming tools for groomers that are pro groomers and for people that are pet owners. And I will definitely guide you on how to use them. They're, again, well researched, so they cannot cause damage. And for the Dog Talk Man, it's I and me for the tear stain removal. And if you need any more information, you'll have to come to one of my seminars. Okay? Alright, so thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you had quite an informative session. If you have any more topics you want me to cover, we can do this a little more often. Okay? So take care, and I will see you soon. Alright, bye.